Mr. Chairman, fellow executive committee members, my name is Dean Hrbacek. I'm a precinct chair, 4110. I've heard a lot of comments, and I just would like to make a few observations this evening. Let me comment. One of the things several years ago in 2003, I was disturbed when this event was taken from your party or from your group. And you heard me voice that in one of the executive committee meetings. To be quite honest, after this next year, I think it should be given back, and I think the party should go to an anniversary event and give it back to where it started. But for the next year, unfortunately, I think things are already in play. And I'd like to address a few of those. One of those, Gary's up here saying that we have no risk. Well, I really question that. Unfortunately, being an attorney, I've got to put on my legal mind. My understanding, we hear it's the budget. Well, we had a meeting in May. We know what the rules were that were adopted in May at our budget meeting or at our executive committee meeting. And meeting could have been called later on in May, could have been called in June, could have been called in July. We called this meeting here, the group that stood up and said, let's get everyone together, let's discuss this. And that was only done 10 days ago. And that's all that needed to get done for the committee to decide where it wanted to have the event and to approve a contract and to approve the expenditure at the Marriott. It wasn't until mid-July, my understanding, that the Marriott contract got signed. And it's my understanding that the Marriott contract is signed on behalf of this group because there wasn't a PAC in place come July. It didn't start until September. So while Gary may say you have no risk, I disagree with that, because if for some reason, if the event's not successful, guess who the Marriott's going to come look at? And it's my also understanding, Mr. Barnes' contract is in the name of the Fort Bend County Republican Party. So whether we like it or not, this group is on the hook through this entire process. And as we get down to everyone said, well, Gary's taken the event. My belief is Gary hasn't taken the event. What we're seeing is an attempt to hijack the event. And what I'm thinking this group needs to do is say, no, we're not going to let you come in and hijack our event. Get out. We're getting back, and we're going to drive this vehicle. So get out and get out of the way. So I think that's what we need to discuss. We've got a finance committee, we've got an executive committee meeting, there's plenty of time to call meetings to get your discussion and your input on decision. And that's what a committee's about, and that's what a chairman's about, working through a group, collectively making the big decisions and moving forward in that particular process.
We have an event committee as well.
Well, we have an events committee. I think everyone is sitting here, the events committee I know has had some input. We're passing budgets. Everyone's in the assumption everything's moving along. 2 weeks ago we find ourselves where, the rug gets pulled out from us. And what's the excuse? And then what I read in the paper, I need a management tool. I don't like the rules, the policies and procedures that have been put in place. And I can, and I'm hearing today, well, I'm going to use the money for the party. I'll be giving it back to the party from the PAC. It kind of reminds me of, read my lips. I was expecting Gary to say that, so we would know it for sure. There's no legal requirement. There's nothing we can do if the check doesn't show up to force that to occur. And lastly but not least, when I was sitting and hearing some of the reasons and excuses, it reminded me of another entity that set up a little side partnerships as a management tool and to avoid checks and balances. And that entity was called Enron. And we all know what happened to it. Thank you.
Just so that you will know, no contracts were signed in the name of the Republican Party of Fort Bend County. No contracts were signed with anyone's name on it but mine. And no party funds were used for any mailing. Even the envelope that I mailed the contract back to the Speakers Bureau with, I paid for the stamp. So the party's name doesn't appear on any contract at all. I am the signer for the 2007 Lincoln Reagan dinner.